Also, that overrated nonsense article again. I need a break. Asserted that the themes of nuclear destruction would be tacked on and preachy, even though, again, fan of Terminator 1 and 2. And how they tacked on those themes I don't get, because they are the basis of this film. It's the Cold War that's the basis of this conflict, and that there would be no resolution beyond the aliens not killing them, I guess aside from that and the subtleties I mentioned. Also, this is strongly inspired by, of course, the themes in the first Terminator, but it had original elements, added like paranoia focusing on your own group, and also how this leads to conflicts being unnecessary, and our default reaction is one of fear. And this is also a really smart theme. That is true. People sometimes acted too much in fear, like the Romans towards the Carthaginians shortly before the First Punic War, or to translate the fear upon other people, like the Catholics treating Jews similar to Muslims during the Crusades, as I mentioned. And also, it is true, people often act rash, like Alexander the Great traveling through deadly deserts, resulting in many deaths. But yes, sometimes violence is necessary for self-defense, but not all that is strange is automatically evil. Also, a really deep theme in this film is of mankind's place in the world and how contact with extraterrestrials would go. A theme that indeed is inspired by Close Encounters of the Third Kind and also Superman, but adds original elements to it and is really deep. It starts off with them meeting an alien underwater, a place where they don't expect to meet them, and they think it might be Russians. And this shows alien encounters would be very unexpected, and also starts off with fear, and like in Close Encounters, by the technology malfunctioning and them crashing, it shows aliens could at first seem dangerous. And then, when one of the crew members meets the aliens, he flees and gets in a coma, showing that it might be really intimidating to meet aliens. But Lindsay asserts that he saw something special, and it probably was shown we should trust strange things, as we can always meet extraordinary things. Also, then, when Lindsay clearly sees one of the aliens, the crew automatically assumes it is a Russian and don't want to trust the situation, and this really shows people are too skeptical about strange events and think only in limited terms, and as Lindsay asserts, you have to be open to deeper meanings, and Hippie comes up with many crazy theories, showing people often get too indulgent over meaningful events, and that when they see one of the aliens, we see, like in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, that they can be trusted. But here we also see that they can be curious and warm and open, and that we can understand them. And Coffee immediately gets scared and has the tentacle split in half, showing that human aggression could make an extraterrestrial encounter more difficult. Yes, but at least the guns from violent humans will be taken away and become walkie-talkie, and I'm really running out of jokes here, ain't I? Yeah, E.T. walkie-talkie special edition joke. Walkie-talkies is guns and Saving Private Ryan. Yay, politically correct. So then we see that Coffee wants to destroy them, showing that humans can themselves be a threat to aliens, but we also see that some humans can stand for meaningful contact with aliens, as Virgil does, by fighting Coffee to save the aliens and then going down and disarming the bomb, and even risking his own life to do so. As a result, the aliens save them, and they send the humans a wise message, but don't hurt us, and save the crew, showing that aliens can set an example to encourage us to act on our capacity for good, and we can be helped by them, and we, as long as we act like kind people, can find kindness in strange places. And we see that the aliens can equally talk with us, and that we can save them, and this borrows from Superman, but we also here really see that the aliens could be emotional and curious, and that they would really act on an equal level with us, unlike Catholics with Protestants. Man, I'm so out of ideas. I guess I could go to the pharmacy and buy some stuff for my throat. South Park reference. Funny. So this is also a really smart theme, as indeed aliens could be kind sentient beings often are, and also feel emotion, and we are very advanced, so we could become equal to them, and if we protected them, we could thereby start a good alliance, as some humans would be afraid of them and could indeed try to hurt them, but as long as other humans would be kind and wise, the aliens would appreciate that, and at first contact can seem intimidating and overwhelming, but like in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, we can see that often it can just be accidental, and that there can also be reasons to trust aliens, and they can also really teach us things, as they of course are very advanced and wise, and we can thereby also help them and thereby have an equal contact, which many different levels of advancement of civilizations of human races also do. One is a lot more advanced than the other, but they still both learn from each other and teach each other, so the same thing could happen between humans and intelligent aliens. Also, there's a very deep theme about friendship, courage, and sacrifice, because Virgil is a really caring man about the crew, and he is really caring from the start, and the friendship makes working easier, showing that true friendship can really help us overcome difficult situations and make our lives better. And then the company wants to use them, and it is greed that gets them into trouble, as they, for a lot of money, join in with a dangerous operation. So selflessness is a better path than selfishness, as with selfishness, we often follow the wrong people and endanger ourselves, and Virgil isn't courageous enough to stand up for them completely, showing you need courage to protect your friends. And then Lindsay at first mainly cares about herself, saying it is her rig, and discusses friction between her and Virgil, as she at first seems to needlessly endanger herself, also to go down to the rig even though she cannot change anything, showing that you are often powerless to pursue selfish endeavors, but she cares about Virgil and wants to help protect him, as she can successfully do that, as she does so by helping lead the situation, showing it is easier and more constructive to hold on to friends, and also the people we love. And Hippie at first is a coward, which causes him to not want to help protect his friends, which causes even more friction, and shows courageousness helps strengthen friendships. And it also shows lack of courage can cause us to do stupid things, like one of the crew members hits his suit, gets in a coma because he fears the aliens, where Virgil stays calm and gets everyone out. But we also see that if you are really friends, often you can be courageous, as Hippie goes to aid a crew member during the crashing of the Rip, and we see a good leader can set an example, as Virgil does by going to rescue some of the crew. Yes, the same way Constantine personally fought Maxentius' soldiers. No, I'm actually proud of that. I'm proud of a good Catholic fighting a good war against a pagan. I am, that's not too cruel, that's actually not insane. I'm old-fashioned, that's just... I mean, we are proud of fighting the Nazis, right? But no, that's an exception. Then it was okay to even bomb citizens, but in other examples it was wrong, like in Nam, then it was wrong for some reason. Why? I don't know, but it was. Sure. And we see true friendship can grow, endure, and even aid us during tough times, like when Lindsay becomes more supportive of the whole crew and helps them freeze less, and One Night comforts Virgil and helps him with his relationship with Lindsay. So really, the film shows courageousness comes from and helps friendship, and that friendship can endure through tough times, and it is more meaningful than selfish pursuits. We see this further when Lindsay sees the aliens. At first, the crew aren't such supportive friends, and this makes it more difficult to find a solution, but when they see the aliens, they grow to trust Lindsay, and she turns out to be right, due to which they work together well against Coffee, where Cat shows that real friends make sacrifices by swimming far to save a friend. And also we see friends should be honest with each other, as that makes for better contact, as Lindsay is honestly told by One Night she's better in a sub, allowing her to help Virgil. Now excuse me, my diabetes is back, but this time it is type F. Fuck. Also, we see Coffee not being courageous, acting on his fear for the aliens, wanting to nuke them, results in endangering the whole crew, and himself getting killed. And we see it sometimes is wise to listen to friends, as he doesn't listen to one of his fellow SEALs, and endangers him and a lot of good people, and he steals his bullets, and then Lindsay sacrifices herself for Virgil, showing that friendship and even love allows you to even give your life for someone. And we see that as friends you shouldn't give up on someone too quickly, as Virgil gets them to keep reviving Lindsay, and it works. You see, Plinkett, you were right sacrificing your Cadillac. At least this was permanent. One cannot be revived from a car accident. They can, however, be revived from drowning. And that's very bothersome. I know, it is awkward. She starts yelling at you just as during childbirth, and of course, you smother her just as then, and then, because of that, the kid died. But no, that isn't abortion, that was during delivery, so it's a stillbirth. Yes. Then Virgil makes a big sacrifice and acts courageous to save the team and the aliens, and as a result they are saved. And as the crew became Lindsay's friends, they help her be honest to Virgil, showing that friendship can help love grow. And also due to his sacrifice, Virgil is rewarded and saved, and a good alliance has begun with the aliens, showing kindness is often rewarded. So this is a really wise and smart theme. As indeed, if you really care about friends, you can make big sacrifices for them, as they are worth it. And sometimes people even give their lives for each other, and friends can often give your good relationship advice, and indeed fear is often a bad advisor. And also it can make friends feel as though you are less there for them, and also we can often overcome this because we care for friends, and also often as they know us, they can give us substantial advice, so we should listen to them. And indeed friendship can last a lot better than actual things, which we can easily lose. Aside from these multiple plot-based themes, there are many meaningful deep themes grown from the characters and their development. There's a very deep theme about the meaning of love. The theme of love brilliantly has the emotional internal conflict mirror the plot external conflict. Virgil got separated from Lindsay, and we see that she is cold to him and that he is cold to her, and that he doesn't have a lot of patience with her harsh attitude, as he doesn't properly stand up for her, and she gets angry about this, and this frustrates him and causes him to be angry at her. And this also parallels the theme about courage. It shows that if we truly care for someone, we stand up for what matters to them, and you need that for a relationship to work. And Lindsay mainly cares about Rick, although she does care for him, and that is why she comes down there also. And we see that she is down there in order to help protect Virgil and to survive in fulfilling her personal goals. And that because of that, she's incredibly harsh in order to protect her personal goals, and that she's mean, showing that people being too self-centered leads them to be afraid to lose the things that matter to them, and due to act unnecessarily aggressive. And this parallels how people act in love to how they act during war. Due to that, they're scared, they start hurting others because they're afraid to lose things, and they act too preemptively aggressive. But we also see that if you truly care for someone, you should be with that person, otherwise you are hurting yourself, as we see with Lindsay not being with Virgil. That obviously hurts her, as she couldn't successfully start a new relationship, and we see that honesty is important, as Virgil isn't honest, and this makes him less able to reconcile with Lindsay. And we see that within war, love can help us survive, as Lindsay supports and helps them survive, and this cheers up Virgil. And this is really smart also, as we see that we will show our true love in tough times, as she already realized she cared for others when a crew member got in a coma, and therefore became more caring and supportive. And due to this, she also started to really decide to protect the crew more, as they needed her, and due to this she became more caring, and due to this she became nice to Virgil, and he appreciated that a lot, and due to that became more honest to her. But realistically and originally, we see it requires more than that, because Lindsay at first remains self-centered, because we see you also need to really understand why to be less selfish, which Lindsay does after she sees the aliens, realizing higher purposes are worth fighting for, and you need to allow yourself to be vulnerable for someone to help you, which she does by being honest to Virgil. And also realistically, that requires a lot of effort to act on that, as Virgil at first isn't willing to follow up on her need for support. But we see that if you can comfort each other, that will help, as Lindsay does by sleeping next to Virgil, and eventually when it matters she will support someone by protecting them, which Virgil does by protecting Lindsay from Coffee. And that if you truly love someone, they will be proven to be right, which is original, that instead of you just having to trust them, which we see Lindsay asks from Virgil, that you can sometimes also really just have your faith rewarded by getting proof of that they're right, and therefore being able to totally support them, as you really see that you can trust them, as it is proven, which we see with Virgil seeing the aliens that Lindsay talked of. Which does make me wonder, why can God not prove to us that he exists? And I know what you're thinking, because that defeats the point of having faith, as hundreds of theologians have explained for ages. Yes, but that is a rather thin excuse, and the only people with any substantial credit in claiming this are the loads of theologians of the one holy apostolistic Roman Catholic Church. I mean, God just doesn't give us much to work with here, unlike with Peter's and the Pope's supremacy. For that we have something a lot more important. We've got a whole lot more evidence for that. Matthew 16. Yes. Also, we see that if you love someone, you should work together and be complementary on smaller levels as well, as they do during the chase, which is original. And we see you shouldn't be afraid to assert that you deserve someone, as Virgil does after one night tells him he overestimates Lindsay. And it shows very originally that most love doesn't come about by accident, and we shouldn't allow circumstances to ruin a relationship. This is shown very well with Lindsay and Virgil getting together to get a room. It seemed superficial, but he defends it like it did mean something, and she got promoted and became distant. But she shows that she does still care for him, as we see with her telling Virgil he once comforted her when she felt lonely. And also we see that it means you can sacrifice yourself for someone, that Lindsay does with sacrificing her life for Virgil, that you won't give up on someone. And it shows that you can really learn to be happy in peaceful times, as they support each other afterwards, after Virgil has revived her. And we really saw that you shouldn't give up on someone's life if you truly love them, but she does by continuously trying to bring her back. And then the original angle is that you have that both ways, with then Virgil going down knowing that he will die to save her, as well as the crew and the aliens, of course. Although that is nonsense, Men fight, die, and hunt, and women do the cooking, cleaning, breastfeeding, more cleaning, receiving sex, massages, and yeah, I know what you're thinking. Ha 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 ha. What a cliche joke. But no, I'm a conservative. Remember? I mean this. What? Stop questioning me. It's true. Come on. A lot of people actually did think this way 50 years ago. And it's not just a silly stereotype. And there's nothing wrong with that. Stop posting hate mail. Stop it. Now! Stop it! Stop it! Good. Yes.